What's up, everyone? Victoria here at popculture.com. I am joined by psychic medium Matt Fraser via Zoom because we are both quarantined right now, as all of you should be too. Matt, welcome. I'm so excited to chat with you today.
Thank you. Same here. Same here. Welcome to the quarantine.
I know. It's a new way of living. How are you and your family right now, given all of this?
We're doing good. We're doing good. You know, my mom is quarantined right now. Well, we're self-quarantined. We're all self-quarantined. Alexa's mom is the baby nurse. She's on the COVID floor right now, actually, in our, she's working there. So it's been a little bit crazy with her. We have to keep our distance. Oh. But other than that, it's just me, Alexa, and the three cats. But we've been, interacting with people on our Instagram and Facebook page and, spreading the love and keeping everybody unified. It's been great.
I would like to think that social media makes all of this just a little bit easier because we can stay in touch.
Yeah, definitely. But I got to tell you, my heart goes out too for a lot of these people because there's so many people that I interact with daily, on Instagram and Facebook. And then so many people have been writing into me and saying, my brother has coronavirus or my grandmother just got diagnosed and my cousin. And these are people like that, that, you interact with or they comment on your posts or they write to you and you're like, oh my God, like it's just so close to home, and it's just so sad that so many people have to go through this.
I know it's quite devastating. It really is. But I think there's so much comfort in knowing that we're all going through this together. It's not just one of us, it's everyone, and it's really nice to see different people stepping up, to the plate and putting their life. I mean, God, our healthcare workers, you know what I mean? Like putting their life on the line for the rest of us,
Oh, yeah. And the people at the grocery store, our mail delivery service, the people who are working, in the restaurants, it's amazing. And, it's amazing to see everybody banding together, like you said, and, helping everybody else out and, just the great distances that people are going. It's really bringing us together.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. Well, via quarantine, I'm very excited. This is a new kind of interview for me. I'm used to being in studio or on the phone with someone. So it's super cool that we're doing it via Zoom. So I want to dive right in. Okay. You are a psychic medium, which I find to be so cool. There has been a recent surge in paranormal psychic mediumship over the past few years. What do you feel, Matt, separates you from the rest of everyone else?
Well, I don't know, because I don't know the rest of everybody else. I just know what I do and who I am, because you can remember I wasn't taught to be a psychic medium. I actually was born with this. So I grew up being 3, 4, 5 years old, seeing and hearing the departed. And for me, I think the closest person that I relate to is that little boy in The Sixth Sense, because that was my life. Like I woke up every night seeing and hearing people who had died, and it was frightening for me. And in the beginning, it wasn't something that I wanted to do. I just wanted to live a normal life.
Well, and I was going to say, so for those of you who maybe don't know, Matt has a reality show on E! Called Meet the Frasers. We love it. We're here for it. You had mentioned on there as well that, you developed this early on and you actually tried to push it away. And it's something that just kind of kept coming back. And so here you are. Has that been hard for you though to... Like, when was the final point where you were like, okay, I can't push this away. Like, this is kind of who I am.
Well, I tried for many, many years, especially when I was younger. When I was younger, being 3, 4, 5 years old and seeing dead people, that's all you want is to escape it. Mm-hmm. So I tried my hardest to push this away, to get away from it all. And then it wasn't until later on in my teens that I went to go and see a medium for the first time myself. And it's crazy because when I actually met somebody and saw what they were doing and, understood it a little bit more, I realized, oh my God, like this is a gift and I can use this to teach other people that, death is not death. Your loved one is right there. So, I started reading for close friends and family members just as something, as a hobby. I mean, not as something that I would ever think as going into a career. I already had a career as an EMT. So I was reading for close friends and family members, and then next thing you know, it just took on a life of its own. And I was asked to be on TV and radio, and word just traveled quickly about the one who could speak to the dead here in Cranston, Rhode Island.
Right. So something that you said just, a little while ago, you said, I wasn't taught this, I was born with this. Is there such thing as being taught to be a psychic medium?
Well, I tell people, I also host classes, but I tell people that, listen, I can't make you see and hear dead people. That's not what I can do. I don't think that anybody can be taught to do it, but there are ways that you can, experience and enhance your own intuition, because we all have intuition, and it's a little bit of psychic ability that we all have in all of us. It's the feeling that we get that the phone's going to ring, and next thing you know, it does. or the feeling that you get when you haven't heard from somebody in years and years and years, and that person pops into your head and you think to call them, and then they're like, oh my God, I was just thinking about you.
Yeah.
That is a psychic ability that we all have. So, not everybody can see and hear the departed, but we can all learn to tap in, to this energy and to, trust our intuition a little bit more.
So this is a lineage thing. So it started with your grandmother, passed down to your mom, now passed down to you. Are your readings different from theirs, or are they able to tap into that realm as well?
Well, I'm so glad that you asked that question, because yes, they are. So everybody has, different forms of psychic ability. For example, my grandmother, she actually used to use cards to read people. So she would make up her own tarot cards and use them to do readings. My mom is different. My mom will meditate before she does a reading, and she'll get, visions and things in the form of thought waves. Where with me, it's almost instantaneous. I see and hear dead people. And, when I walk out into a live event or an audience space, I literally see them.
Wow. And oh my God, it's so cool. I'm so very intrigued with all of this. And after watching your season too, you had mentioned that like your mom as a little kid told you like, don't be afraid of the dead. And how long did that take for you to maybe like not be afraid of like this other realm?
It took a long time for me to actually accept my gift because, when you're so young and you're seeing the departed, you don't think that it's people who are family members or friends. Like when you're seeing dead people, you think of them as ghosts. I never thought of them as people who used to walk this earth. I just thought of them that they were spirits that were trying to haunt me. I didn't realize at that age that they were actually trying to give a message to me. I didn't realize what it was that they were actually doing. But I realized later on in life that once I started to listen to them, that they would go away. All they wanted was for me to deliver their message.
To just communicate.
That's it.
Wow. Now you had mentioned that this was in the season. Sorry, I watch you guys. You had mentioned that your dad doesn't believe in kind of what you do. Is that still true today, or is it something that he's come around to?
So he's definitely come around a long way since the filming of the season, because he actually attended my event for the first time on TV, because he refused. There was years and years and years that, my dad wouldn't come to an event. He wouldn't come to see what I did because he was afraid. And, my backstory is that my dad was 21 years in the Navy. So he missed out on a really big part of my life, and he missed out on those crucial moments of when I, was just a child and I was experiencing this gift. So my dad didn't know what to make of it. He was going out to sea, and you're going to remember in those days, we didn't have FaceTime. We didn't have TVs. All we had was written communication. That was it. So here my dad was, out to sea. He comes back 6-7 years later and realizes, oh my God, my son is a medium. What's that? Oh, he's seeing dead people. Well, how? I don't understand. He wasn't there when I was in my room yelling and screaming because I was seeing the departed. So it was hard for him to get used to. And a lot of times he just ignored it. He didn't want to understand what I did because he was afraid of it. It was different. And, a lot of people, like, if they don't understand something, they run from it instead of learning about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, I can see that. During your readings, I can only imagine that a lot of them are heavy emotionally. Does that ever take a toll on you?
Oh, it does. It definitely does. I mean, at the end of these events, I'm drained. I mean, the one thing that they don't show on TV is that when I'm all done with the live event, I got like the ice bag over my head. I got like the head massager on. I'm like all like tired and everything because it's literally you leave all your energy there in the room because it's a constant communication and it is a lot of heavy energy. I mean, you might go from reading somebody who lost their son to next thing you know, be in the back row to somebody who lost their daughter to next thing you know, somebody in the front row who had lost their father. You never know who's going to come through. But to me, that's what makes these events so interesting is that, when I'm doing a live event or a show, I can channel up to, 20, 30, 40 souls. I never know who's going to come through or what they're going to say.
Well, and so you said earlier that this is more of an instantaneous thing for you. One of my questions for you was going to be, what do you feel when that type of sense is coming to you? Like, what do you see? What do you feel? Or is it just different? I know you said it was immediate, but what is that sense like for you?
So for me, it's like almost like like looking at a jigsaw puzzle. Like I sense things, see things, and feel things. So the way that they use me and the way that they communicate with me is they use my whole body to speak and talk. So for example, when I'm looking at you, you have a grandfather right behind you that's departed, that's here. Yeah.
Really?
That's right with you. Yeah, I think he was on your dad's side. Was that who you were closest to?
Interesting. No, so my dad's side of the family, I don't know them as much, but my family so I'm part Iranian, and my family in Iran have been wanting to get to know me in recent years. So they've reached out quite a bit.
That's crazy because that side is with you. And this is crazy because what happens is that even if you didn't know the person here in this world, they still watch over you.
Yeah.
And your grandfather on your dad's side is there. Because the one thing that he's acknowledging is that he actually tells me that he wishes that he would have gotten to repair things with your dad here in the physical world. That there was like there was a distance there or a lack of communication that was there.
Yeah.
You know about that? So somehow they got separated here in this world because he's telling me that. And your dad still has a hard time with that because I feel like he didn't get to say goodbye to his father. And because of that, he's watching over you and he's watching over the family. See, these souls come through when there's messages that are there that have to be delivered. And the one thing is that he's stepping forward and saying, I never got to be supportive of my son the way that I should have. And he's actually acknowledging that he wants your dad to know how proud he is of him because he says that your dad did everything himself. And that's why your dad is so focused. Like your dad always wanted a family and to build a family of his own here in this world. I don't know if he shared that with you, but
no. My dad, yes, he is a very hard worker. It's to a point where it's like, can we just calm down for a second? Interesting.
So he's acknowledging that when I'm speaking to him and just acknowledging that, he wants to pass that message on to his son. And in turn, he watches over all of you. He's with you and he's with your dad. He's watching over everybody because what happens is that anytime that we lose a soul here in this world, even if we don't know them, even if they're like a grandparent that we never get to meet, they still meet us on the other side before we're born. And he is watching over the family and watching over your dad.
Oh my God, look at me. I didn't even expect this out of the interview. That is so wild. I mean, I find it to be so cool. If any of you, out there watch Meet the Frasers, I mean, it's very incredible what you do for people and to see the genuine reactions from people, who come to your readings. And you have a 2-year wait list too for a private reading, don't you?
Yes, I do. Yeah, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
Oh,
because you know what? I can't, I don't even know how it got that long, to be honest with you. Like all of a sudden, like I was like, because I do readings like actually just like this on Skype. I do it all over the world. And there's so many people who come to me. And then one day they were like, yeah, should we close the waiting list off? I'm like, why? Well, they're like, we're at 2 years. I'm like, we're at 2 years. That's crazy.
Oh my gosh, that's wild. Well, okay, so you have your own reality show now. How has that changed your life personally and professionally?
Well, you know what? I think that the way that it changed me is because my followers get to meet my family, which all these people, who are on my Facebook, on my Instagram, on my social media, they've seen me give readings on TV. They've seen me give readings on TV. They've heard me give readings on the radio. But they were like, who is this person? They see me go do a reading and leave. And now they get to see the behind the scenes of my life and get to know me in a different way. Instead of just getting to know me through my readings, they get to, become part of the family.
I was going to say they get to know your family too, which you hired your family. How is that working for you? How has that been?
Well, so my mom and I have worked together from the very beginning. From when I decided to go public with this, my mom went and joined me, and she's been with me ever since. But she's not professional. I mean, tickets go missing. I mean, you can't.
Wears her slippers.
Yes, she can't dress up. She does not dress up whatsoever. She just, does whatever she wants. And if you ask anybody, working with family is the hardest thing in the world because you can't fire them. You can't.
Yes.
You can try to fire them, but you can't. It doesn't work out.
It's dangerous when you bring on friends and family because, there's that personal level that you're like, where do I find the balance between business and family? And that was my question for you. Like, you're around, your family, Alexis's family, like, there's that, where do you draw the line,
It's hard. We have something called the parent code. So like I talk to my family about things that, they shouldn't be doing or shouldn't be saying, or ways that they are acting inappropriate. And Alexa talks to her family about the inappropriate things. So this way we don't, because you can't get mad at your own son. You can't get mad at your own daughter. So we have the parent code where she talks to her family when they do something that's, screwed up. And I talk to my family when they do something that's screwed up.
That's good. So there's boundaries there. You guys got boundaries. You got some rules in place.
But really, there's not boundaries, because I feel like you wouldn't have, if you had boundaries, then you wouldn't have the parent code, right?
Yeah.
But my parents are always overstepping boundaries. I mean, Alexa's mother, she is a baby nurse. She's very inappropriate. You wouldn't believe the things that come out of this woman's mouth. I mean, all the time. I got him
watching season 1.
Oh, she's very obsessed with genitalia. She's very obsessed with talking about how babies are made, because that's her profession. She's a baby nurse, and she just wants to talk about it all the time. And she's all for it. Like if Alexa and I are gone for too long, she thinks we're making a baby. So you're gonna be very careful with her. My mother, the two of them together, they're like children. They just like feed off of each other's energy. So it's I guess it makes great TV. I don't know.
I mean, it makes for fabulous TV. Are you kidding me?
It just makes a very tough family life. That's all.
Yeah. Once the cameras go off, you're like, okay. So what can we maybe expect for a season 2?
Well, season 2 will definitely be Alexa and I in the next steps in our relationship, since now that we're
ended on a engagement.
Yes, and it's really fun because there were things that were filmed afterwards that, didn't make it into season 1 that would go into season 2. For example, like, Alexa and her in, the pageant and where that left off and what she's doing right now, and, some of the modeling and the things that she's doing. And also, with myself, we're really expanding the business this year, and I'm doing a lot of theater events and helping a lot of people and coming to brand new cities, states, and locations. I just wrapped up my book tour. So I think that people are going to be able to see that, but also, there's also talk of adding more readings in as well, because that's one of the things that we've gotten a lot of feedback on, is that people want to see the in-depth readings. So we're working on it.
I was going to say, that's what people want to see. I mean, it's mind boggling, it's so cool. Well, you mentioned your book tour. So for your book, When Heaven Calls, what made you want to write a book?
So I already had actually a book before that. It was called The Secrets to Unlocking Your Psychic Ability.
Okay.
So this is actually my second book. And it's about my life story, because people ask me all the time, some of the same questions that you've asked me. What was it like growing up psychic? How did you know you were psychic? What advice do you have to psychic children? Have you met a psychic child? What was your mom's advice? How was your grandmother's ability back in the day? Mm-hmm. So, I'm like, what? I need to write this down. I need to tell my actual story and tell what it's like, because there's a big misconception still to this day when it comes to psychics and mediums. People think that they're people who are scary or, look into a crystal ball or have the veil on or whatnot. And that's just the opposite. Mm-hmm. There's nothing spooky about me, just my family. So I wanted to write a book to really teach people that, your loved ones are always with you. I want to teach about the life lessons that I've learned from the departed, and also to teach people that, you can connect with your loved ones as well. They're always close by.
Oh my God. Was the process of writing a book and kind of journaling, as a writer myself, like it can be an emotional process when you write things out. I mean, what was that process like for you?
Well, mine was very different, because I did not write my own book. I had somebody write it for me, because I can't write to save my soul. So if you wanted, it would take me a very long time, and you'd see grammar and spelling and punctuation mistakes that you can ever believe. So what I did was I had somebody transcribe. I had the book in my head. I knew what I wanted to write. So I talked to, a transcriber and a writer, and she wrote it all down for me, which was even better because I wanted it to come off as authentic. So when people read the book, it's very conversational. It's like I'm having a conversation with you.
It's not
like, it's not like, okay, and then I did this, and then I did this, and then this happened. No, it's like, it's basically a conversation. And that's some of the feedback that I've been hearing is people like, wow, it's like, I'm talking to you. I'm like, I can hear it in your voice. And that's really what I wanted. So it worked out great.
Oh my God, amazing. And my last question for you is, what would you tell those, and you've touched on this a little bit throughout the interview, but what would you tell those who are maybe wary of psychics, and what kind of peaceful advice could you give?
Come to an event yourself. That's the event. That's the advice I have. Yeah. If you're leery, if you're skeptical, if you're uncertain, come to an event. I love the skeptical ones. I love it. And I love when somebody comes to an event and they're like, I don't know if this is real. I just can't believe. I just don't know. And it's normally that person who gets a message that's life-changing.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, I love it when a skeptical person comes in and receives a message that completely changes their world, because it shows them that, one, there is life after death, and two, it shows them that there's nothing to be afraid of. So, I think everybody is healthy and walks in as skeptic, unless you've been to a medium before. I think everybody walks in and says, is this real? Could this really be happening? I mean, I was on a talk show with two skeptical news anchors. They invited me on, and they got a reading of a lifetime, and it was amazing because, they were hesitant to have me on the show. Yeah. Because they were like, I don't know if, mediums are real. I don't know about this. And they had me on and they got a reading. And then not only did they break down on air, you can actually watch it on YouTube, but it went viral to over 3 million views, when it was posted. And everybody else could feel their emotion and could feel what they went through. And it was just so incredible.
Oh, amazing. Well, Matt, you're wonderful. I'm so excited for your success and what's coming, next for you in the next chapter, I should say. Any more books maybe that you're planning on writing?
Hoping so. Okay, I have a couple ideas. I'm just going to see what was going to be the best fit.
Good. All right, everyone. Well, make sure you head over to popculture.com for more on Matt Fraser and your other favorite celebrities at popculture.com. We'll see you later. Whew, that's so weird, like ending it on Zoom. I'm so used to being in studio and you get into such a routine of, how you exit things. But
oh yeah.
God, thank you so much. You are amazing.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me on and for interviewing me. It's great.
Of course. I like to just be very honest with people. I can't stop the recording right now, I don't think. I'm afraid if I were to stop it, then
that's okay.
Then I'll mess something up. But I know if I X out of it, or maybe I could stop it up here. I'm afraid it'll X out, and I didn't want to just like leave you high and dry, but we will stop at that point. But anyways, thank you so much. That was so, okay. So like off the record though, like my dad's family, I was never very, like, I don't know any of them because they all live in Iran, and my dad has told me like different things, but my dad was ripped from his family. If you've ever seen the movie Argo, my dad was ripped from his family due to all the stuff that was happening in Iran. And so like, he wasn't able to see his family for like years. He finally went back after like 40 years to like, he had to do some things over there first because his family's all women and they don't have the rights that we have over here in the US. And so he went over there, but his parents are dead. So it's just wild to hear that because I've wanted to know so much about my family lineage over there, and literally only in the last like year has my family like really tried reaching out via like FaceTime and stuff to try, and they can't speak English. So my dad has to translate for them, but it's just it was chilling hearing you say that because that's a side of my family that it sounds awful, but like, I don't think of them as often.
Some people, it's always the people that you don't expect. Like if you have a friend that had passed and you expect them to be around you, you probably won't hear a message from them because you already feel them. But like your dad's dad really wanted to convey that message to your father because, your dad is still hurt by that, that's still a piece of him. And that's, like I said, he was telling me that's the reason why your dad wanted to have a family, wanted to get married and wanted to do all these things because he had never had that as a kid. He never had that growing up.
Yeah. Oh my God. Wild. It's so chilling.